Does this feel familiar? Morning. Sunlight filters through the curtains, touching your face, but instead of a surge of energy, you feel a leaden heaviness. Our character, let's just call him, lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. His messy brown hair is scattered across the pillow, and his simple dot eyes aimlessly follow dust motes in the air. A battle is already unfolding in his head. One part of his mind screams about the to-do list, the deadlines, and the big ambitions, while the other, the stronger one, whispers, "Just 5 more minutes. The world won't end. Let's just check the notifications." And then his hand reaches for the phone of its own accord. One click, one swipe, and an hour of life dissolves into the blue light of the screen. This isn't just laziness. It's a trap our brains fall into every single day, and getting out of it feels like trying to escape quicksand.
Why do we give up so easily? We often blame ourselves for lacking willpower, calling ourselves weak or disorganized. But the truth is, your brain is an incredibly complex machine that is simply doing its job too well. For thousands of years, the brain's primary goal was survival and energy conservation. To your ancient self, discipline looks like a pointless waste of resources. Why go to the gym or write code when you can lie in safety and harvest cheap dopamine from social media? We live in a future world with a Stone Age brain, and this conflict is why you keep choosing the easy path. But what if I told you that discipline can be more than just something you endure? What if you could actually love it? To do that, we don't need iron willpower, we need craftiness. We're going to hack the system. To trick the enemy, you have to know their face. Inside your head, there is a constant civil war. On one side is the prefrontal cortex, your inner director. It's responsible for logic, long-term planning, and those goals you set at 3 a.m. On the other side is the limbic system, your inner child. It wants candy, warmth, and entertainment right now. The problem is that the limbic system is much older and much more powerful. When you choose to lie down a bit longer instead of working, it's not you losing, it's your inner child hijacking the controls. The main tool of this control is dopamine. Many people think dopamine is the pleasure hormone, but that's a misconception. It's the hormone of anticipation. It's that what's next feeling that keeps you scrolling through Reels or TikTok. The brain gets addicted to these short, explosive bursts. When you try to do something disciplined, like reading a difficult book or cleaning, your dopamine levels drop below their baseline. Your brain literally begins to experience physical discomfort, almost pain. It perceives discipline as a threat to its well-being. To love discipline, we must change how our brain predicts rewards. Most people make the same mistake. They try to do discipline instead of becoming disciplined. When you tell yourself, "I'm trying to run in the mornings," you're already leaving a back door for failure. You still perceive yourself as a lazy person who is committing an act of violence against their own nature. This requires a massive expenditure of willpower, and willpower is a finite resource. To trick the brain, start at the foundation. Change your identity. Imagine our hero. He no longer says, "I'm trying not to be lazy." He tells himself, "I am a person who cares about my future self." When you adopt a new identity, every action becomes a confirmation of who you are. A disciplined person doesn't fight themselves to take a shower or brush their teeth. It's just part of who they are. If you decide you are an artist, then drawing becomes a natural process, not a chore. The brain stops resisting because it hates cognitive dissonance. It's easier for the brain to follow the image you've painted of yourself than to negotiate every single time. Start small. Name yourself who you want to be, and the brain will start aligning reality with that definition. Your brain is terrified of big tasks. When you think, "I need to write this massive script," or "I need to learn a new language," your brain sees an insurmountable mountain and immediately switches to energy-saving mode. The answer to this is extreme simplification. It's called the 2-minute rule. Any habit can be started in less than 2 minutes. Don't go for a 1-hour workout, just put on your sneakers. Don't write an article, just open the laptop and write 1 sentence. The point is simply to cross the threshold of entry. Once you've started, resistance drops almost to zero. Our hero in the green t-shirt sits at his desk, staring at a blank page. His goal isn't to finish the project, it's just to sit there for 2 minutes and engage with the work. Usually, after those 2 minutes, the brain enters a state of flow, and stopping becomes even harder than starting was. We use momentum to our advantage. Furthermore, remove friction. If you want to exercise, lay out your clothes next to the bed the night before. If you want to spend less time on your phone, delete social media apps or leave the phone in another room. Make the right choice incredibly easy and the wrong choice incredibly inconvenient. We've become accustomed to cheap dopamine that requires no effort. But there is also expensive dopamine, the kind that comes after completing a difficult task, after you've pushed through. The problem is that the brain has forgotten how to value it. To fix this, you need a dopamine detox, or at least the technique of temptation bundling. Try combining what you need to do with what you want to do. For example, only listen to your favorite podcast while you're exercising, or allow yourself that perfect cup of coffee only while working on a difficult project. You're training your brain to associate discipline with pleasure. Over time, your neural pathways will rewire. Your brain will start releasing dopamine not from the final result, but from the process of overcoming. This is the moment discipline becomes an addiction in the best sense of the word. You start getting a high from the fact that you are in control of your life, rather than your life controlling you. Our hero looks around his room. Space posters on the walls, a cozy lamp on the desk, a cat dozing nearby. Atmosphere matters. Discipline is often perceived as something gray, military, and lifeless, but it doesn't have to be. You can make your discipline aesthetic. If you like lo-fi music, put it on when you sit down to work. If you like beautiful notebooks, buy the best one and write in it. Your environment should whisper your goals to you, not distract you from them. Your brain is highly sensitive to visual triggers. Create a ritual. Light a candle, put on specific clothes, turn on a specific playlist. When these actions are repeated, they become signals to the brain. Oh, we're being productive now. And it automatically shifts into work mode without further argument. You aren't forcing yourself. You are simply stepping into a space where discipline is the natural state of being. One of the greatest enemies of discipline in the modern world is the fear of boredom. We've grown used to filling every second of silence with sound or images. But it is in boredom that creativity and strength of spirit are born. To love discipline, you must learn to be in the silence with your thoughts. Allow yourself to sit for 5 minutes doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. No phone, no music, no books. Soon, your brain will start begging for some kind of activity. And at that moment, even the work you were putting off will seem like an interesting escape from the void. Discipline is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to act despite them. You acknowledge, yes, I'm bored right now. Yes, I'm lazy, but I'm going to do this anyway. In that act of acknowledgement lies immense power. You stop being a slave to your momentary impulses. You become the architect of your destiny. Eventually, our hero realizes the ultimate truth. Discipline is not a prison. It is the key to the prison. Real lack of freedom is when you cannot bring yourself to do what you think is important. When you promise yourself you'll wake up early, but you sleep in. When you want to create something great, but you waste time on trifles. That is true slavery, being subservient to your most primitive instincts. When you are disciplined, you are free. You are free to choose your future. You are free to be who you want to be. And at that point, discipline stops being a heavy burden. It becomes your ally. You start to love that feeling of clarity in your head after a productive day. You love the pleasant ache in your muscles. You love the pride you feel looking in the mirror and realizing, I did what I promised. So where do you start? Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for a special mood or inspiration. Right now, when this text ends, do one small thing. One task you've been putting off. Let it take only 2 minutes. Just start. Trick your brain once, then twice, then a third time. And one day, you'll wake up and realize you don't need the tricks anymore. Your life has become what you always wanted it to be, and that feeling is worth every effort. Remember, discipline is the highest form of self-love, because you are taking care of the person you will become in 5 or 10 years. You are giving them opportunities, health, and success. So, put on your sneakers, open your laptop, take that first deep breath. Your journey starts right here, and trust me, you're going to like it. If you like this or it resonates with you, please like and subscribe. We need your support to see that you enjoy our content. It's our sign to keep going and bring you even more stories.